Now, it's honestly a pleasure for me to be talking about this game, which needs almost no introduction at all. Obviously, I have recently gone through a journey of completing a few of FromSoft more titles before continuing to Elden Ring and the Elden Ring DLC. I wanted to finish some FromSoft games that I haven't played before. And the last one on my list would have to be arguably one of the best rated games, not only of all time, but pretty much the best rated FromSoft game that I know of. This is a game that has such an amazing following almost a decade later. Obviously, if you're looking at the screen, you know I'm talking about BLOODBORNE. This game is almost a decade old, like I said, and I have recently played it. After 52 hours of gameplay, including the Old Hunters DLC, I can clearly staple that this game is still, till this day, a piece of art. It is something to behold. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, today we're going to be talking about a few things regarding BLOODBORNE. This is going to be a pretty detailed review of what the things that I like, but I'm also going to be talking a lot of things that I had problems with in my 52-hour playthrough. Now, I'm a big fan of horror games, and I'm a big fan of this dystopian, cosmic, H.P. Lovecraft type horror. The best way that I can, define this game is that it's like a cosmic horror, H.P. Lovecraft, steampunk horror game. The art style of this game is, I would say, perfect. When this game was designed back in the early 2000, maybe 12 or 13s, when this development started, because this game came out in 2015. Definitely, this is like a project that was new. It was a new IP. It introduced a new parrying system, and it introduced a whole new type of art style and combat style for FromSoft and their games. Apart from the style of the game, I think what I have to say that impacted me the most about my 52-hour playthrough was the music and the score of this game. I absolutely loved everything that had to do with the original soundtrack for this game. It was made, I believe, by 5 composers. All the music is original, and it was mixed from I believe it was 2 or 3 Asian composers and then 3 American composers coming together. I'm not even going to try to pronounce their names. I just know that they did an amazing job, and the music in this game has to be my favorite part. I want to go ahead and just want to play a section of the game for you here regarding the music and how much I loved it. I just want to go ahead and just listen to this. Hey, baby, let's go.
You were at my side all along.
This thing can talk?
My true mentor. My guiding moonlight.
It's talking. Oh, it's got a sword now? Oh, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Guess what? I got a sword too. Here we go.
6-second tap transition.
You got aggro, bitch. Ludwig's theme immediately takes over the screen, and I have to say I believe it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, part of this entire soundtrack. This fight, this music, the build-up to the moment he falls to the ground and he starts talking to the Holy Blade, everything about this fight is just non-stop. It's just amazing. It's just, I can't say enough, or I can't say anything that hasn't been said already. And I know that the music is my favorite part of the game because when I started the New Game Plus, I fought about 3 to 4 bosses. I fought Father Gascoigne, the Cleric Beast. I fought around one additional boss, optional boss, the giant white wolf lady that turns into church. And I did it without the music. And I can tell you that the experience of playing Bloodborne without its original score, it's missing something. It's missing the most important factor of this game to me, and that is the music. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the rest of the game itself. I think graphically this game still holds up to this day. The amount of detail in this world is ridiculous. The weapon variety and how all the weapon variations have different functions. I think that there is about 24 weapons in the game. And then every weapon again has a different function, a different variation. Some weapons can be split in two and be used as faster attack weapons. There are heavier weapons, there are hammers, there are even giant cement block fists that you can use as punches. The game has amazing variation when it comes to weapons, and in the whole franchise I believe is one of the games that has the less weapons, because a more updated game like Elden Ring or older titles like Demon Souls or Dark Souls had those medieval axes, weapons, shields, and I believe Sekiro has the less of the whole franchise because you have your regular katana and your immortal blade. I don't believe there's a lot of weapons outside of those two primary weapons in Sekiro. But anyway, graphically it still holds up amazingly. Weapon variation is great. Enemy variation is very good, not including the bosses. We're not going to talk about the bosses yet. The art style, like I said before, that H.P. Lovecraft cosmic horror is amazing. The lore of the game and its story, to the Fromsoft titles, I believe is my favorite one. I love the story and the lore surrounding Yarman and the hunters in general. What else can I say about this game? What else can I cream about it for? Music, horror aspects, graphics, enemy variation, the boss fights. When these bosses were good, they were good, man. There were a few bosses in there that were just melting my brain. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch over very quickly to some of the more negative aspects of the game. And I'm going to go ahead and do this now because I feel like if I, get this out of the way, I can talk about more things and how this game still to this day, how impactful this game is in general and how much people still want to keep exploring this world and keep playing it almost a decade after it came out already. Some of the negatives that I want to talk about are things that have been said before about this game. For me, number one, the necessary part of the game, because your main two objects in this game that you collect are blood vials, blood echoes, and quicksilver bullets. You use blood echoes to buy either upgrades, more weapons, or resources. Your resources being blood echoes, molotovs, quicksilver bullets, any type of weapon that'll help you fight the beast, anything that'll help your health. You can even buy clothes and armor. So echoes is the main thing that you get in the game by killing the enemies and the bosses, and with that is the currency. But there is a nature to the game where you have to farm echoes and blood vials and quicksilver bullets to be able to just play the game correctly. And that constant farming of resources really takes a toll on the game. I figured out a way to farm resources with one of the dungeons, and that way I didn't have to really worry about blood vials or have to worry about quicksilver bullets or any of the other resources that I could buy, like molotovs, which are your best friend in this game. They are. If you play this game without the music, it is nothing like the original aspect of the game. This game is meant to be played with music. There's no other way to play it. That's not really a negative. I'm just saying, don't do that. If you're somebody who just cannot handle music in games, like my brother, then you're missing a huge aspect of this game. The checkpoint system, very annoying. Every new section has, every time you start a new section in the game, every time you discover a new part of the city, you're always going to be able to find a shortcut at the beginning of that section. They're not very easy to find all the time, but the checkpoint system, if you don't find those shortcuts, is very, very annoying. I think it's the worst of all the FromSoft games. Another thing that this really holds this game back in a way, this game is a decade old. It came out on the PS4. I played it on a PS4 Pro. There are moments in this game where the game cannot handle what's going on screen. It is heavily affected by frame drops and frame rate drops. It is painful to see sometimes when you're fighting, for example, a huge boss battle with the Orphan of Cause, and your screen is just ga. It's really annoying, and it's just really in the moment it causes you to panic because you don't know what's gonna happen. It's not the best camera angles either. Sometimes the camera goes insane when you're fighting boss battles because some bosses are very, very quick and they can like speed past you, and the camera doesn't always know how to handle that positioning when you lock on. Another thing that I want to talk about that's very important to me is the boss balance. When the bosses were bossing, dude, the Orphan of Cause, the Cleric Beast, the Blood-Starved Beast, the nursing, the black like nursery boss with the crying baby, Gurdam, his boss battle was amazing. The bosses are either very, very hard or very, very easy. There are certain bosses in this game like the Witch of Hemlock and the Master of the Library, whatever that guy's name was, who was like Grantas Eyes, that guy. Either the bosses were very, very easy, very, very hard, or just plain annoying. So annoying isn't a category in difficulty, so they were either easy or hard. There was not a lot of balance when it came to the boss. I defeated at least like 4 to 5 bosses one shot. Like I was able to fight them one time and that was it. Like the amygdala, like the wet nurse, like I said before. Even though it was a complicated boss, I was still able to beat it the first try. So, I think the best boss for me was definitely the Orphan of Kos. I love how hard that boss was, and definitely bottom of the barrel is the master of the library. I don't even remember that dude's name. The guy with the cage head. Hated everything about that boss fight. Lady Maria was also a pretty great boss fight. I think I beat her on the second to third try. She was pretty good. So yeah, no, definitely. Even the boss like Father Gascoigne, well, I was very severely underleveled. I was able to beat him on the second try. And, there's a few of them that are a little annoying, like the Martyr, who's on the roof, before you reach the Queen of the Arnhem, or the Queen of the Vile Bloods, I'm sorry. But, the really difficult bosses were, were very few in between. So, yeah, that's pretty much, and obviously this game's storytelling isn't, the way that they produce their story isn't always, for me, the best. I don't love the way that FromSoft tells its stories. It's very vague. It leaves a lot to interpretation, and it leaves people to having to dig deep and read a lot of lore and talk to a lot of NPCs. It's not a very cinematic game like we're used to. It's a very gameplay-oriented game. Right, it's like you're just as lost as the main protagonist, which I like to a certain level. I do like it. So, for me, those are the biggest oopsies about this particular title, right? The balance between the bosses, the frame rates and camera fighting angles, the checkpoint system, and the farming system. When you calculate all that, right, and you put it in front of you, to me, this is not the best FromSoft game out there. I still believe that Sekiro is the most well-balanced when it comes to pretty much everything in the game, and combat is perfect in Sekiro, and I just love the Sengoku era art style, because it's like one of my favorite, art styles and timepieces. Even though I love horror so much, even though I love this dystopian Van Helsing type of horror style, which I've heard that this game has been compared to, I would say that Sekiro was just elevated just a little bit more. It's a little unfair because Sekiro is definitely a more updated game. It came after this one, but that's just personal opinion. Some people say that this is the perfect FromSoft game, and it's the best one until this day, the best combat. Even one of the most famous YouTubers of all time, Jacksepticeye, says that this is the best FromSoft everything, and that the game has no faults. And I don't agree with that. I believe the game, if I would have to put it in a scale, I would say that definitely it's about a 9 out of 10. It's not below a 9 because of how much love and dedication when it comes to the graphics, the weapons, the bosses, the enemies, the style, the lore, the music. God, the music alone is a 10 out of 10. And, the endings are a little disappointing, but, it's a FromSoft game. That last boss fight, the Moon Presence, huge disappointment. Spoilers. There's a secret boss at the end after Gurdam, the fake wheelchair guy. And, she has one good attack where she takes away your power to heal, and then that's it. She doesn't really do anything else. She just moves around sporadically, you kill her, and that's it. It's not a good boss. So, it's a good style. Everything looks amazing. The moon looks fucking great. But other than that, it's kind of disappointing in a few aspects. This game is kind of disappointing. And then you find the real challenge with side bosses that are hiding in caves that take you 3 to 4 hours to beat for some particular reason, like the whales from the fish village, which were hell to get through. There are two of them hiding like in a cave. Oh, so that's what I meant when there's not a lot of balance when it comes to the big bosses. But other than that, honestly, I could go ahead and say that I understand the hype behind this game. I understand the love that people have for this game. Till this day, sometimes when you go look at YouTube pages that have reviews and you see a Bloodborne review, that review is probably the biggest review on that channel. And it's the most talked about thing on that channel compared to other videos. So, and even for me, where I started my streams, I had like 65 subscribers, and in the span of a week, I gained more than a dozen subscribers because I was playing this particular game. It has a huge following. It has millions of people that love it. It would definitely benefit from a remaster or a remake, even though that's very improbable because this is definitely a Sony exclusive title. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts on this particular title. I believe that this game is masterclass. I had so much fun and despair and anger and just joy and just awe going through it. And those 52 hours, I would do it all over again. I would just love to be able to just experience. I would stop playing and it was the only thing that I would think about. And not a lot of games can do that. Thank you a lot for coming into the channel. If you did, I appreciate your time. And that's it. That's the Bloodborne review. I'll see you guys in the next one.